What's up, this is Makio Legio, and welcome to the... How many times is this? The third Blender stream? Don't quote me on that, I'm gonna have to go back and check. Today we're gonna be going back and trying to figure out what we're gonna do with the armature. But mainly, we're going to try rigging and painting the weight distribution on the armature instead of using the auto rig, and possibly do some play around with the physics modifier once we get there. The reason I'm doing this is because apparently well, it's a good knowledge to have, to make some small adjustments in that. Although Blender now has a auto rig function, in order to make smaller adjustments in that, I heard that it's a good thing to still know how to do. And also it will give me a reason to mess with the shape keys, and also, you know, in order to make a model that wobbles funny instead of acting like a proper human. So we got our human model here. He's not too different from the one that we used last time, but the biggest difference is he's got thumbs, and he's also got proper hands instead of stubs. So I tried to make enough seams in the mesh for him to not his meshes to not kind of crumble on itself when we start messing with the armature. So hopefully he's set for the particular thing we're trying to do today. So without further ado, let's get started. So first and foremost, let's start adding the armature itself. So we're gonna go in front view, and we're gonna start adding, right, need to go to object mode. Oh yeah, and I'm going in blind this time because the tutorials that I got doesn't cover this part. It only covers the auto rigging for the armature, so I'm doing this as I pull the manual, and the manual itself doesn't say visibility, viewpoint display in front. There we go. And we'll go to edit mode. It doesn't really say when to start doing that weight paint thing, so we're gonna have to get that properly done as well. Okay. So first we're gonna go for the wrong button. Control E. Or was it Alt E? Wait, I'm gonna bring back the old tutorial, not just to see how do you bring up the mirror when we press E. Alt E. Alt E. Alt E. Dang it. Yeah. Start with the bass line first. Why not? Okay, neck and head. There you go. And actually, I'm supposed to bring it down towards the pelvis. There we go. Grab that, scale it down a bit. And okay. Right. Gonna make a new save because we're gonna start dealing with the bones here. Armature. Edited. There we go. And I'll be back with a tutorial. Oh, there we go. Right. Gonna need to press this thing here, mirror. Right? Yeah, mirror option is on. Still no mirror. Try that again. Alt Shift. No. Oh, okay. Sorry. Shifty. There we go. Okay, that's gonna be the shoulder. Up to the forearm. And to the wrist. Then we go Shift E. Oh, there we go. So maybe I should redo the because I want it to be in a straight line. There you go. Again, forearm up to the wrist. Scale it down a little bit to let it. Now. we'll make that. I'm kind of doing this, but I'm not sure if it actually. Oops. If it's gonna help at all. I'm just trying to keep the armature inside the mesh. I'm not sure if there's any practical application to that. Okay. So for the first, we're just gonna omit the third joint on the hand. So we're just gonna make it to the second one. So up to here. One more here. And last one here. Okay, then the thumb. Yeah, I think we got it. A little bit of adjustment here and there. Yeah, there you go. Yeah, no, maybe bring it back a little. Hey. Okay, I think we got it. So we're gonna save here before we start, oh, shit. Never mind. We're not done. We're not done the slightest. We still haven't taken care of the legs. Right. Okay, side profile, there we go. And one more. Shift E. Not sure if I need the armature for the toes. For now, we're not gonna bother with it. There we go. All right, now we should have all the bones. So let's just see if it's in the right spot, all of them. Yeah, it seems to be in the center of everything. Good. Okay, so we're gonna create a save before we start adding the weights. Okay. So, I have two ways to do it in mind at the moment. One is, of course, doing everything from scratch. And the other one is using the auto rig. Using the auto rig on the armature and making adjustments from there. So probably what I'm going to try first is making adjustments from the auto rig. So we're gonna make a save for that. Paint from auto rig. Okay. And P, Shift P. Nah, I need to be in object mode, don't I? Shift P. Control P. Control P. There you go. And set parent to armature deform with automatic weights. There we go. And if we go into weight paint mode, there we go. We are able to see what the this guy's right leg. Whoops. You do that. Yeah, this guy's right leg seems to be broken because he has a very strong weight distribution on that leg, which means it's gonna. We go into a pose mode. I think we can see that it's. Go to armature, pose. Go back to object mode, and then, yeah, the armature is selected. We should be able to go into pose mode. Oh, there we go. We can go into pose mode and see what's up. Yeah. Rotate. X-axis. So just gonna move it the same way and see how much Okay, so it doesn't change that much. So right now there's no huge difference from how much weight distribution is given to each part of the body. From the looks of it. Okay, how am I gonna approach this? I'm not trying to fix anything. I'm just trying to learn how the function works. So right now how can I Okay, I think what I'm going to do is mess with the modifiers, mainly the physics, because I had the feeling that as soon as we start mucking about with the physics. So let's look for the modifiers here. Or we could just use physics here. Constraints, physics, and also shape keys is something that apparently I'm going to want to learn in the future. However, for the purpose of this stream, we're gonna stay with the armature, the weights, and probably the modifiers a bit, and see what we can do with it. Okay. Right. In order to modifiers. Please give me modifiers. Okay, object mode. Where's the spanner? Oh, it's in pose mode. Never mind. Object mode. And there we go. Alright. So, what we're gonna do is, now that we got the armature, now we're gonna add the physics. And what I am going to add is probably, well, first and foremost, let's see what each of these do. So cloth, it's obvious. Collision, it's obvious. What's dynamic paint? Turn objects into paint canvases and brushes, creating color attributes, image sequence, and displacement. Okay, well, we're not gonna need that for now. Add a procedural operation effect to activate object. Ooh, all this is gonna be interesting later. Fluid, of course, it's gonna make him liquid. Ocean, particle instance, particle system. So let's make a Jello man out of this guy. So what I'm going to do is first I'm going to be adding a few things to the scene. One of them being a surface for this guy to stand on. It's a plane. Yeah, he's in the center. The plane is in the center. Let's bring him up top side of that. Z too much. How about 3? Nope, one more. 4. 4.2. Too small of a number. 4.5. No. 4.5. Oops. It's alright, we'll work our way from there. 1. Oh, good. Okay, so he's on top of that plane, and we're gonna scale it to, say, 10. Scale it to 10. There we go. That's good enough. And the next thing we're gonna add is a regular ass cube. Actually, I got something else in mind. So we're gonna make a jello ball. So this is gonna have the soft body, and we're gonna test the physics by dropping it on his head. So we're gonna set up the models first. Let's see if we can make this happen. And modifier physics, soft body, and collision. Settings are inside the physics tab. Physics. And it is. Okay. Okay, I guess it could stay as default for now, because frankly, I have no idea what I'm doing now. I'm just winging it. So just made a save there, and what I want to do is add collision to both of these, and probably to the surface as well, so it doesn't slip through. And drop the ball on top of this guy's head and see if the ball have at least that boyoyong kind of, what soft bodies do, kind of bounce around off of his head. And then if that works, we're gonna create a cube. That's gonna be hard surface. We'll drop it on his head, see if we can make the guy explode. So, I think we're going into the animation bit. Let's go back. Get the whole thing in frame. It doesn't have to be anything as spectacular at the moment. So right now we have soft body and collision on the ball. See if that does anything. Well, it's floating. What we wanted to do is for that thing to drop on this guy's head. So we're gonna try to achieve that. First, I'm gonna have to go on the internet and see how to add gravity in the scene. So Blender 4.2, how to add gravity. Okay, it can be found on the Scene tab. So we're going to the Scene tab. Scene. Aha! There it is. And gravity. Yes, there is gravity. Alright, gravity is on. However, the animation value is, I think, what's preventing the ball to fall down. So I'm gonna change the before we do something too complicated, we're gonna change perspective a bit. And what we're gonna do bring that camera in front. And what we're gonna do is simply rub this guy's face with the soft body and see if the physics on this thing is working. But in order for us to do that, first we need to add this guy already has collision. So we should be able to every time this thing goes by his face, it should deform every time it touches his head. So somewhere around here. Oh, why did it disappear? What did I do? Okay, it's back. So move it here. And that's gonna be our frame 1. So we're just gonna add insert a keyframe here. Keyframe here. Add keyframe. Add keyframe. Insert keyframe. Okay, need to be in pose mode, I think, he thinks. Okay, pose mode. There we go. And grab that. No, grab that. Move it here. There we go. And just repeat that for the repeat that process. And if the collision is working, can't tell if it's phasing through or it's or the mesh is moving accordingly. So what I am going to do is go back to modeling, and what I am going to do is add some textures to it, or materials. Materials should be good enough. New material, it can be ball. And make that ball red. Material preview. Okay, that ball is red. And now we should be able to see if the collision is working. I think it is. To be honest, I can't really tell. If I can turn off the physics. I don't want to delete it. I just want to turn it off. Bypass it so to see if it's actually working or not. Okay, I know. Put it on mirror mode. Yeah, it looks like it's not. Yeah, it looks like it's not, squishing. It doesn't look like it's squishing, it just looks like it's phasing through. So let's try and fix that. Or it's just me simply being, let me create a render. We'll try rendering it, see if we can tell. Ball collision. All right, and we'll just Control F2. So rendering now. All right, render is done. Let's have a look. So let me bring that up on screen. It's a still frame. Why is that a still frame? Okay, this one's moving correctly. Let's render that again. Okay, render complete. Let's try that again. Okay, that's a different problem. For some reason, halfway through the render goes into a crawl. Yeah, it's because of the animation, isn't it? For some reason, it's not following through. Turn that off. Let's go back. Okay. So I guess we're going back to the I think I know. We didn't add the collision. To the object, did we? We do have... No. Yeah, there we go. There's the problem. Forgot to add collision to this thing. There we go. How's that now? Oh, there we go. My computer does not like it. There we go. It's it's more of a slime. It's more of a slime than a ball. Maybe the soft body is a bit too strong, so let's adjust that. Let's go to the soft body. Okay, so the next thing we're going to do is try messing with the there we go, goes to the physics tab and start messing with the numbers on the soft body. Soft body introductions. I'm using Blender 4.2 manual. So, is this the... Yeah, blender.org. So this is the, I think it's the official manual. Soft body simulation is used for simulating soft deformable object. Yes. Who's this, design, the introduction, I guess I can't skip. Soft bodies are well suited for jiggle-on moving characters, elastic and deformable objects made of material like rubber or gelatin, tree branches moving in the wind, swinging ropes, and the like. Flags, wide sleeves, cushions, or other simple fabric. And the following videos, we don't need a video tutorial right now, we're making our own. So, we got soft body created already. Okay, tips. Soft bodies work especially well if the object has an event vertex distribution. Okay, you need good enough vertex for good collision. You change the deformation so the ball is well suited for it, I guess. The calculation of collision may take a long time if something is not visible. Why calculate it? True. To speed up the collision calculation, it is often useful to collide with an additional, simpler, invisible, somewhat large object. Okay, now we haven't cleared that part. We're using the model here. So use soft body only where it makes sense. If you try to cover a body mesh with a tight piece of cloth and animate slowly with a soft body, you will have no success. Self-collision soft body hair may be activated, but that is the path that you have to wander alone. We will deal with collision in detail later. Try and use a lattice or a curve guide soft body instead of the object itself. This may be magnitudes faster. Okay, there's new things that we should keep in mind. So I'm gonna make a note of that. But we're going to stick with this particular physics. Okay, lattice, curve guide, soft body. Okay, let's go to settings. We want to make it weaker. We don't want it to turn into a smashed water balloon every time it hits something. We just wanted to make it a... First and foremost, let's go from the top. Simulation. Oh, hold up. Object. Okay, friction. The friction of the surrounding medium, generally friction dampens a movement. The larger the friction, the more vicious the medium. Friction always happens when a vertex moves relative to its surround medium. I don't think that's the one we're looking for right now. Mass value of vertex. Large mass slows down acceleration. Except for gravity, where the motion is constant regardless of mass. Larger mass means larger in inertia. So also braking a soft body is more difficult. Control point. You can paint wings and use the specified vertex group for mass values. Right. Okay, we can skip on the simulation. Cache. Okay, I think it's the goal. Okay, enabling this tells Blender to use the motion from animations, F-curves, armatures, parents, lattice, etc. in the simulation. The goal is the desired end position for vertex based on this animation. Okay, settings, stiffness. We're not going for a vertex group, so let's try settings and strengths. See what that does. Okay, the stiffness, the spring stiffness for goal. A low value creates very weak springs, more flexible attachments to the goal. A high value creates a strong spring. A stiffer attachment to the goal. Dampening. The friction coefficient for goal. Higher values get dampening for the spring effect. Little jiggle, and the movement will soon come to an end. Okay, so this might be the value we're looking for. And strength. How about strength? Default. Goal weight strength for the vertex when no vertex group is assigned. If you use a vertex group, the weight for a vertex defines its goal. Min-max. When you use a vertex group, you can use the minimum and maximum to fine-tune the weight values. The lowest vertex weight will become minimum. Highest value becomes maximum. So for now, we're just going to work with the stiffness and the dampening. So let's bring that value to 5 and see what that does. Nope. Okay, I brought the stiffness to 0. Yeah, it's acting like a deflated balloon now. So you should have saw that coming. So bring it back to the default settings, both of them. Stiffness was 0.5. Oh, no, not 4, 5. There we go. Yeah, so apparently, ooh. It's pretty, resource heavy to use a soft body. So that's something we're gonna have to keep in mind in future projects. So there we go. We got we got soft body covered there. Okay, let's go back to gravity. And now I'll try to make it so that the the ball kind of falls on its own instead of us moving it with a keyframe. So, how to make object fall with gravity. Okay, so everything seems to be okay, how to make something drop in Blender. Yeah, everything seems to be a video tutorial. I don't want to Okay, we're going back to the manual. Gravity is a global setting that is applied to all physics systems in the scene. It can be found in the scene tab. This value is generally defined left as its default. Minus 9.810 on the z-axis, which is the force of gravity in the real world. Changing this value will simulate a lower or higher force of gravity. You know what? That turn off all keyframes. Bring the sphere. Back to grid. Grab it. And pull it back to grid. You know what? And just drop it. Okay, we're gonna move the camera out. Here we go. It's almost an audible splat. Okay. Good enough for that. So that will be ball 2. And we're gonna go back to a older save without all the stuff, just the autorig dude. Nice. And the next thing we want to do or try out is can we make the bones and its attached mesh kind of collide with an object So what I'm trying to do is I want to do the same thing, although we're gonna use a box cube instead of a sphere, and we're not gonna make the cube soft, we're gonna make it hard. What I want it to do is I want the cube to hit his head and have his head bounce around, eventually returning to its original position. So I want his head to go like a bobblehead. So, how am I going to approach this? Oh, shit. Hold on, the armature's not even, attached to the, body. Yeah, with automatic weights. Okay. This should be the, yeah. We can overwrite this say because we want this to be the, template. There we go. So. First, let's see if the head is moving as intended. I'll take that as a yes. Yeah, so what I wanted to do is when we're gonna do the same as the last animation. We're gonna move the cube on the x-axis and go through my man's head, and instead of the soft body doing its work and the cube collapsing on itself, I want his head to go boing every time it passes by, eventually going back to this state. So let's see if we can do that. So let's start adding the obvious, and that obvious is adding cube and going to cube and adding collision. There we go. So, and the next thing, of course, is the cube that we're going to smash his head with. Scratch that. We're not trying to smash his head yet. I'm actually to be quite frankly, I'm actually planning to do something much more worse to him, but for the time being, we just want to see if my man's head can bobble. So we're going back to Google, how to make a bobble. How to make a bobblehead. Okay, how can I use physics to create a bobblehead? Okay, that's easy enough. So that is it. That is exactly what we are trying to do here. Okay, bobblehead boolean. Okay, it's taking me back to YouTube again, to video tutorials and that. I don't want to use video tutorials on stream that much because I'm not sure what the copyright is on. How the copyright deal is on that thing. That is shouldn't call it a thing. I don't know the copyright arrangement for that particular video. So I'm kind of reluctant to use that tutorial on stream. So I'm looking for something in text, but it seems all the tutorials are in video format on YouTube. So we're going to be trying our luck on our own. Okay, so we do have physics on. Now, the next thing we're supposed to do, I think, is apply that collision to the armature, and we want to have that armature be affected, mainly the armature on the head, to be affected by the collision of the mesh of the body and the cube. So okay. Let me try to wrap my hand around this here. First and foremost, let's go add the collision on the mesh. Oh, we already got collision. That's good. That's good. Armature bone. Okay, how do I select a individual bone? And moreover, oh, there we go. Bone 4. Meh. Which bone is this? This bone here. Okay, this is bone 6. And conveniently, there's an option called bendy bone. So let's go and look at what that does in the manual. What is a bendy bone? Search bendy bone. Okay. I think this is the related. Okay, I think this is the article that we're looking for. Okay, technical details. Blender treats the bone as a section of a Bezier curve passing through the bone's joints. Each of the segments will bend and roll to follow this invisible curve representing a tessellated point of the Bezier curve. The control points at each end of the curve are the end points of the bone. The shape of the B bones can be controlled using the series of properties or indirectly through the neighboring bones, i.e. first child and parent. The properties construct handles on either end the bones to control the curvature. When using the B bone as a constraint target, Data ID offers an option. This part is not really relevant to what we're trying to do. Okay, display. You can see these segments only if bones are visualized as B bones. When not visualized as B bones, bones are always shown in rigid sticks, even though the bone segments are still present and effective. It means even in e.g. octahedron visualization, if some bones in the chain have several segments, they will nonetheless smoothly deform their geometry. Okay. There we go. Options. Segments. The number of segments which the given bone is subdivided into. Okay. Maybe not what we're looking for, and maybe it's not the right question that we were asking Google. So let's try this question: how to make a bone move with collision. How to make a bone move with collision. Yeah, it's a video. Yeah, most of them are video tutorials again. I'm not sure if I could use them on stream for copyright reasons, so I'm not gonna play it. Okay, Blender community. Something here. Simple right-click select. You get the ability to set bones to be treated as a chain of rigid bodies connected by joints would be very useful in many cases. Often true soft body physics aren't necessary and or don't deliver desirable results. For starters, physics could be enabled for all bones in an armature to create a ragdoll effect. In addition, physics bone could be used to quickly, realistically, and reliably animate things that hang on. Okay. Okay, so from what I gathered so far with the other articles that I've been reading is soft body. And basically, physics is rather overkill for the most application when it comes to animating human bodies in that. Okay, the music is on loop, so we're gonna change to a different playlist. Okay. So there's another thing that we another keyword that just came out was a rigid body. So let's go back for starters. Physics could be enabled for all bones in an armature to create ragdoll effects. In addition, physics bones could be used to quickly, realistically, and reliably animate things that hang on. Animated characters like meshed hair, and opposed to true particle hair cloaks, trench coats, drawstrings, jewelry, etc. It could also be used or inanimate objects to make them seem more believable when they move, such as the straps on a backpack or the subtle movement of pocket flaps. Damping and elastically control of the joints would also be useful. Alright, so I think what we're going to do is add a rigid body, because I do believe seeing a modifier for that. Let's go ahead and rigid body. Nope, not here. Maybe bone constraints? Ah, there we go, rigid body constraint. No rigid body world to add rigid body constraint to. Okay, let's go ahead and search how to put in how to apply rigid body. Okay, there we go. From the top, rigid body. Well, first and foremost, what is a rigid body? The rigid body simulation can be used to simulate the motion of solid objects. It affects the position and orientation of objects and does not deform them. Unlike the other simulation in Blender, the rigid body simulation works close with the animation system. This means that rigid bodies can be used like regular objects and be part of parent-child relationship, animation constraint, and drives. Okay, there we go. How to create a rigid body. Only mesh objects can be part of a rigid body simulation. To create rigid bodies, either click on the rigid body button in the physics tab in the properties, or use active add passive in the object rigid body menu. Okay, so it has to be on the cube. Alright. There you go, rigid body. Added. And the type is active. And the mesh has rigid body now. And let's see. There are two types of rigid bodies, active and passive. Active bodies are dynamically simulated, while passive bodies remain static. Both types can be driven by animation system when using the animated option. During the simulation, the rigid body system will override the position and orientation of dynamic rigid body objects. Note, however, that the location and orientation of the objects are not changed, so the rigid body simulation acts similar to a constraint. To apply the rigid body transformations, you can use the Apply Object Transform operator. Okay. And the scale of the rigid body objects also influence the simulation, but is always controlled by the animation system. Rigid body physics on the object can be removed with the rigid body button in the physics tab in the property and the menu. Alright. Working with rigid bodies. Several object operators exist for working with rigid bodies. These operators can be found in the rigid body object menu. These operators include functions and add removes rigid bodies, modify the properties, and add rigid body constraints. Okay, settings. There you go. Now type of active passive we check. Let's go to the collision properties here. Okay, determines the collision shape of the object. So let's open that. Alright, determines the collision shape of the object. These can be broken into two categories: primitive shapes and mesh-based shapes. Primitive shapes are best in terms of memory and performance, but do not necessarily reflect the actual shape of the object. They are calculated based on the object bounded box. The center of gravity is always in the geometric center of the shape. Primitive shapes can be shown in the 3D viewpoint by enabling bounds. Alright. Mesh-based shapes are calculated based on the geometry of the object, so they are better representation of the object. The center of gravity for these shapes is the object origin. Okay, so probably capsule. Oh, there we go. So right now it's a capsule. We turn it into a box. Okay, so this is the rigid body for this model. It's it's definitely in the center. However, the problem is it's too in general. If you catch my drift, we need it to. Well, we need it to be linked to the bone instead of the mesh itself. So we're gonna work with that. And I think for now we'll turn off the collision because we're working with rigid body right now. And yeah, that takes away the collision modifier. And we're gonna work with the rigid body first. So where were we? Okay, we went through shape. Now it's source. Source of the mesh used to create the collision shape. Base is the base mesh shape of the object. Deform includes the new deformation add. Okay, not something we're looking for. Friction and bounciness. Probably similar to the soft body physics that we were messing with earlier on. Okay, the other thing I should be doing is we should add rigid body to the... Yeah, there you go. A rigid body on the box can be a box. Because it's literally a box. There's no reason for us to make it any more complex than that. So sensitivity, the collision margin is used to improve the performance and stability of rigid bodies depending on the shape. It behaves differently. Some shapes embedded while others have visible gap around them. Margin is embedded for these shapes. Now the margin is not embedded for these shapes. Okay, so we're using the box, so the embedded margin is applied. Okay, margin itself, threshold of distance near the surface where collision are still considered best results when non-zero. Okay, dynamics tab. Rigid body constraints. And there we go. We also got rigid body constraints. And we're gonna come back to that later. We're gonna just check if everything is in order here for the regular rigid body, and see if we're not accidentally doing something redundant. Okay, Dynamics tab. Let's have a look at it. Right, dampening translation. Amount of linear velocity that is lost over time. Amount rotation, amount of angular velocity that is lost over time. So this is gonna be important when we start moving the object. So for now, it can be left alone. Let's read the description of the deactivation tab here before we move on to the next. Enable deactivation of resting rigid bodies. Allow the object to be deactivated during the simulation. Okay. So right now we don't need it. Okay. Rigid body world is something that we tried, that showed up a little bit when we tried to add the rigid body on the bone earlier on. So what's it all about? The rigid body world is a group of rigid body objects which holds settings that apply to all rigid bodies in the simulation. When you add rigid body physics to an object, primarily there is created a group of objects with default rigid body world name. Did it now? Let's see. It has a vertex group, modifiers, and its armature, and then let's see group object. I don't see any group object with a rigid body name. You can create several rigid body world collections and allocate the rigid body objects with the collection panel. Okay, we'll come back to this later. We're going to look at rigid body constraints because we have that ready. And we need to set that up as well. So, constraints, also known as joints for rigid bodies, connect two rigid bodies. The physics constraints are meant to be attached to an empty object. Okay, so right, let's keep reading before we skip the conclusions. The constraints then has fields which can be pointed at the two physics-enabled objects which will be bound by constraints. The empty object provides a location and axis of the constraint distinct from the two constrained objects. The location of the entity hosting the physics constraint marks a location and set of axes on each of the two constrained objects. These two anchor points are calculated at the beginning of the animation, and their position and orientation remain fixed in the local coordinate system of the object for the duration of the animation. The objects can move far from the constraint objects, but the constraint anchor moves with the object. If this feature seems limiting, consider using multiple objects with a non-physics child of constraints and animate the relative location of the child. Just gotta drink water a bit. Okay, so connect. The quickest way to constrain two objects is to select both and click connect button in object rigid body. This creates a new empty object named constraint with a physics constraint already attached and pointing at the two selected body objects. So So does that mean instead of so that means it would have been better if I just instead of using the parenting the armature to the cube and doing the weights, I should have that's for moving the mesh itself, so it shouldn't have to do anything with the physics, right? So I'm gonna turn off rigid body and constraints. Grab that. Grab the armature and the no, we don't want to grab the light. This and mesh. There you go. So we selected the armature and the mesh. So we go to objects and rigid body. That did. Hold on. Let's try this again. We'll do rigid body, box, and then go back up, object, rigid body, add active. Can't add rigid body to non-mesh objects, okay? Rigid body constraints. Okay, rigid body. Okay, now that we're here, let's try pose mode. Yeah, so it is going with the moving with the model, the rigid body. The problem is it's still a humongous square. So I just had to blow my nose. What we're trying to do is we want to make it a box per joint instead of a whole box for the entire human body. So let's see if we can keep going with the rigid body constraint tab here. And see if we can apply it. No, we can make that into rigid body constraint per joint. Okay, settings enabled, specifies whether the constraint is active during the simulation. Breakable, allows constraint to break during simulation. Disable for the motor constraint. This can be used, this is not relevant for now. Threshold, impulse strength that needs to be reached before the constraint breaks. Limits, by using limits you can constrain objects even more by specifying a translation rotation range on around respectively one axis. Okay, so we could use this limit on the common option for the rigid body constraint. There's no limits tab here. Okay. I think I understand. Or do I? Okay, physics constraints are meant to be attached to an empty object. So say if I make an empty cube. Okay, what I can do is add some rigid body constraints to it. So say if I take it off here and here, and the armature is ready here. Say if I take it all, so I think what I want to do is line it per each part where I want the constraints, right? So like this, I'm assuming. And just make more of these for body parts, per joint, and then join them in. I think. select armature and then put it here. All this is selected, and we should add Control P. Okay, it's got a rigid body constraint. Okay. Right, instead of trying to figure things out myself, let's try how to apply rigid body to armature. Okay, parented objects with rigid body. Throwing parented objects with it's a video again. Okay, how do I add? There we go, community. How do I add rigid body to an armature? Okay. Okay, so this is where where we're going to create ragdolls. So this is gonna be an entirely different can of worms. So it's going to so I don't think it's going to be something that we can cover in this particular stream. There's a lot of prep work in order for me to do the rigid body from start to finish, and I don't think I'm gonna be able to do that within the runtime. So for now we're gonna leave it, and we're gonna come back to the armatured mesh. So sorry, Bubblehead, it's not gonna happen for this particular stream. However, what's going to happen is that you are going to explode. We're gonna use the explosion physics on him, and what we're going to do is, well, first and foremost, we're gonna add collision. We're gonna add collision. We'll bring it to the top of his head. And what we want to do is, soon as the box hits his head, we want him to explode. So we're gonna bring it to the front. There you go. I think this is good for a starting position. Let's go ahead and add, no, not the cube, the camera. Add shape key for the camera. Thank you very much. There you go. Okay, so the cube has collision. And so does this guy here. Now what we want to do is we want him to explode as soon as he gets hit by this thing. So let's go back to the manual and check explode. Okay, explode modifier. There we go. The explode modifier is used to alter the mesh geometry by moving, rotating its face in a way that roughly tracks particles emitted by the object, making it look as if the mesh is being exploded, broken apart, and pushed outward. For this modifier to have any visible effect, there needs to be a particle system on this object. That particle system will control how the mesh is exploded. Okay, so add particle system. And I think it should be before explosion. And we should go to the particles tab. And we're gonna bring the manual page for that as well. Particles. No. First and foremost, does the default make it explode? Yes. Yes, it does. All right, the next thing we want to add is, what we want to know is how do we let the particle system kick in with a keyframe? Here we go. Practical system to keyframe. Okay, this must be it. Create a particle effect, bake it. All right. So let's see if we can let that kick in at the right timing here. So I don't know, maybe 20 frames. At 20 frames, the cube is going to hit his head. And that's when we want to have the particle system kick in. Okay, viewpoint display ね。physics に。And okay, keyframes added here already. Okay, so a bit of scripting is going to be involved. See if there's a way for us to do without the scripting, because I don't know squat about scripting just yet. I'm eventually gonna have to get around to doing that as well further in the future if I am to make full use of the program here and for future projects. Okay. Ow. Ow, my jaw. And a yawn. Okay, it doesn't say anything about keyframes except for the okay, there we go, bake. In order to improve real-time response and avoid unnecessary recalculation of particles, the particle data can be cached in memory or stored on a drive. And that goes to general baking. Okay, baking's physics simulations. Baking refers to the act of storing cache in the result of the calculation. The result of simulation is automatically cached in memory when the animation is placed, so that the next time it runs, it can be replayed more quickly by rendering the results of the memory. Okay, if you bake the simulation, the cache is protected and you will be unable to change the simulation settings until you clear the bake frames by clicking delete bake. It's generally recommended to bake your physics simulation before rendering. Okay. Alright, there we go, cache. So let's go back to the particle system. And the cache tab, there you go. In order to improve real-time response to avoidance, yeah, saying the same thing. Okay. So if we start now, he's already falling apart. Before the cube even hits his head. So we don't want that. Okay, frame start. Oh, there we go. Frame start 20. And let's end it around 100. Oh, there we go. There we go. There we go. It's done. Oh, that was easy. Okay. Now that we got it, now that we got the explosion and the particles in that done, we still got an hour to go. So what I think I'm gonna do is create an animation based on that. So nothing too crazy. So I'm gonna do playing again. Scale it to 10. And scale the Y. Press the wrong button. Scale the Y-axis to say 4. That's overkill. Y to 4. Okay. Got us as a walkway. And bring the armature man up here. And put the cube over here. Nice. And what we're gonna do is we're also gonna add a material on these guys to be able to see a little bit better. Material. One for you. This should be a human. So will be the human material. You will be green, or maybe maybe yellow because it'd be easier to see. And material for the cube. You can be red. And the plane, it can stay white. And move the cube. Oh, didn't mean to delete it. Damn it. On the ground. Move it slightly here. Good. Okay, well, so this will all be the default position. All channels. Oh, wrong cube. Okay. I'll bring the armature man back up. Okay. I was just gonna make him walk. And since they both have wait, did I add shoot. Okay, I made a save before changing the name. But it's a good thing there's not much nothing too serious done yet. All we did was add some particle effects in that. And actually, meanwhile, we can turn off the particle effects for now. And we can turn that particle effects for now. Turn that off for now. Because it's going to be distracting. Actually, I didn't even have to do that. I just had to turn it off. There you go. So let's just make a simple walk cycle. Let's go into pose mode. And have him start walking. Man, this guy's hand is big. Okay, maybe a side profile would be better, so we can see. Maybe not. Okay, walking cycle. Okay, he's gonna... There you go. So I got a reference. So I'm going to use that to make a simple walk cycle. Actually, take that. Take all of that. Cut it. Copy it. There you go. Oops. the right leg in front. Okay. Wait a minute. No, pause. Let's start that again. Oops. Go. And we're not gonna move the spine much this time. Okay. Keep that at keep that as a frame. Delete that frame. Go. What that? Oh, the bones suddenly disappeared again. Hello? No. Okay. All right. Alright, so right leg comes forward. There you go. Should have done some proper tweening, but all right. Okay, doesn't have to be that strict. Replay that. Hey, it almost looks like he's dancing, so we'll stick with that. Okay. And next comes the cube. Not this cube. This cube. Okay. We'll make him kick it. There has to be object mode for me to move this. Alright. Good. Add an iframe to that. Okay, time for the camera. Okay. Good enough. Add a camera there. And move that to an angle where we can see him. Kicking it. Alright, let's try that again. Okay, that's not good. He's not hitting it yet. We want him to kick it. Good. Let's try that again. All right. And this is where the particle effects come into play. Go to the cube. Particle system. $220, $240. Make the end $240 as well. Good. All right. Let's see how everything turns out. Yep. And one last crucial detail, we need to see the particle system murdering the guy. Okay. And then pull back out. There. Okay, let's do this again. Okay, now we just need to see the particle effects in render. Make sure it's make sure everything is showing up. Okay. Let's try rendering it. It's in PNG, so let's fix that. Okay, man hits toe. And render. I completely forgot about messing with the lightings though. Okay. There's the animation. Let's check it and run. Let's check the final product. Okay, good. So, there we go. We did it. We have a bit of time left, but we pretty much finished what we set out to do for today. We messed with the collision. Actually, wait a minute. Let's see if we still got about 25 minutes for runtime. Let's try adding collision. Oh, there is collision already. Just that there's no force behind the there's no force behind the hit. Okay, if we add force field to this, will that change anything? Okay, add it to the other cube, see if that does anything. Okay, that's not good. That messed up something. Okay, turn off the force field. Okay, messed up the animation for some reason. Okay, we're back here. Okay, don't add anything to the... the human. Let's add it to here. See if that changes anything. Okay, that didn't do much. Okay, let's mess with the collision a bit. Let's bring this up. But there's no force behind the... There's no force behind the collision. So I think that's where the rigid body was supposed to come in. And kind of bridge the gap between having collision between two meshes in that. But yeah, I'm gonna have to do some prep work for that. And yeah, that seems to be a good idea for the next stream, is to start messing with the rigid bodies and start to finally create something more than just a practice model in that, and something that's much more yeah, like my character model in that, something around those lines. We'll start with that. We'll try to make a low poly character model of myself, and see if I could use it for, see if I could eventually rig it for stream, so I could have a little bit more movement. Yeah, there we go. So I think we're done. We're done with the basics. Next time, when we finally get the rigid body properly rigged. Oh, there we go. Hence the name, rigging a model. So yeah. So we got about 10 minutes left, but we're going to leave it here for today. And we're gonna put this animation on shorts as well, with a little bit of editing. So yeah, that's about it for today. So let's review what we accomplished today. We messed with the collision. We learned a bit about we didn't manage to add collision in a meaningful manner to any of the models that we messed around with today, unfortunately. Except for, of course, the soft body physics that we tried earlier on. But we do have some hit pointers for what we're supposed to do next. That mainly being the rigid body in order to put collision per armature. I think that's how it works. Well, I'm not gonna get too ahead of myself and start explaining something that I don't understand. I'm just gonna leave it that it's gonna be something that I am going to work for and try to have a tangible workflow and a project to work on for next stream. So yeah, we're gonna leave it for today and get some stuff ready for next week as well. So thanks for stopping by, and if you liked it, consider following the channel. We are trying to reach a 20 follower goal. Be we'll very appreciate it if you'd like to contribute. No pressure. And also consider following the YouTube channel that I got in the about page, the description. One for the edited Let's Plays and one for the stream archives, the permanent one. Tomorrow we're going to be continuing with Gothic Classic, and then we're going to come back to the drawing stream, and then the dark side of stream, and then we're going to come back to Blender and try out the rigid body in that. So come check it out. And again, thanks for stopping by, and we'll see you next stream. Peace.